Are you guys with John? Do you have some doubts? The Wings are in right now. We're into the second half. The deadline's around the corner. Do you have doubts? 248-539-9797 with this team's ability to close out hockey games, to close out the playoffs.
Yeah, and last night I was sitting there and I watching a softball game, Firecrackers versus the Generals. It was a heated competition. And on my phone, for whatever reason, I couldn't get the game on ESPN Plus. It kept telling me I was out of market, and I'm like, I'm still in Metro Detroit. Anyway, so I'm following it on my phone, which is maybe the most painful way to follow a game. And okay, it was, you get the notification, 1 goal by the Wings, 2, 3, and in the span of what felt like 6 or 7 minutes. And I'm thinking to myself, this is Todd McClellan. Yes, this is the response that we wanted. You come out, you lay an egg in the first one, you lose one that you should have had, and then you get to the fourth, and even so, you get to the third. Damn, why do I keep saying that? You get to the end of the third, and you're like, okay, well, they still got a 2-goal lead, and then boom, boom, it's tied up. Oh, you got to be kidding me! It's like you're living a nightmare. And then Kane goes away with the breakaway and gets one. So it stems the tide a little bit, but it still makes me, and we want to know you as the listener, it makes me very cautious to see where this Wings team is going to go.
So I think a huge part of this is going to be, too, how they handle the deadline. It's March 7th, still a couple weeks away here. But to me, it's not a question of if they should add. It's a question of where they should add. Like, they're a playoff team, and last year they didn't do anything, and they missed by a point.
So they weren't a playoff team.
Right.
And you think this year they are a playoff team?
I do.
I think they should be.
Yes. And I think that they have to do something at the deadline. Like, John, you would agree, if they made a move at the deadline, it would calm some of your concerns.
Yes.
I don't think it's a question of if they should add, though. Like, I mean, what's the alternative? You're going to sit on your hands and hope to get in by the skin of your teeth again? Or you help these guys in this locker room. You make a move to make yourself even just a little bit better. I think there's a couple areas they could improve. I mean, if it's a Band-Aid third pair defenseman or third line player, fine. I think they've got a couple goalies who are mediocre. I don't know that there's going to be a great one available, but you kick the tires there. And then I'd love to see this team get a second center. I don't know that it's going to be cheap. You're probably going to have to pay for it. But if it's a guy who's going to be here long term, like, these are areas I think they should be looking to add at the deadline.
So if you were sitting down with Steve Yzerman and he said, we're only going to be able to add one,
I'd add a second
center versus a goalie?
I don't know that there is a goalie.
Well, and I know the goalie topic is kind of a little bit cautious because what we believe is to come.
Yeah, we think Costa's maybe a year or so away. Look, they don't have a second center. Larkin's shouldering a lot in that first line. Kopp is hurt right now, and let's be honest, is not a second center. I'd love to bump him down when healthy to the third or the fourth and have a true second center on this team. That, to me, is the biggest need, but that doesn't mean they couldn't Band-Aid it up with a defenseman or, a depth body. I think they do owe it to the guys in this locker room to be a little more urgent. Like, Yzerman was not urgent in the offseason. It was a lot of, reshuffling and cycling through. They kept Lalone. They waited on Lalone. How about a little proactive urgency at the deadline? If they're in this thing, they got a couple big games with Columbus this week, but they're on the bubble. They're in right now. It's not should they add. It's you should add at the deadline here. And then I think it would make you feel a little bit better about this hockey team right now.
Yeah, for me, if there was a better answer in goal, and again, like you, I don't know that there is a better answer in goal for what this team needs now, as well as what is going to be here in the next couple of years. And it doesn't mean you can't. Obviously, you're going to need 2 goalies.
Yep.
But when I look at what this team is, and if you only look at it with Todd McClellan, offense isn't their big issue. It's more defense. They're able to score. And would we like to add everywhere? Sure. That's not real. But I would like to add somebody on the third level of defense so that when they do get into the third period, they don't lose some of these leads that they're able to build up. And even when you look at the losses that they've had with Todd McClellan as coach, all right, yeah, they haven't been able to score in that the 4-game road trip where they won at Florida on the first one, but then it was 1 goal, 1 goal, 1 goal, and they were all losses. it was they gave up 5, they gave up 4, and then at Philly it was a 2-goal overtime loss. But
so they've had the 2 7-game win streaks with McClellan. The first one was all offense. The second one, they did have a little bit of a defensive backbone there. I think Johansson's helped a lot, but he is ultimately still a rookie. Look, they could even add a second pair of defensemen and bump the rookie back down to the third pair.
Sure.
I mean, like there are areas for this team to improve at the deadline. I hope that Yzerman has a little more urgency than last year or even to start this year. Because you're right, John, it is going to come down to every point. It is going to come down to the wire right now. You should have a little nervous energy. They've got a tough schedule. And look, however you guys interpret the first 2 games out of the break, they nearly blew both. So there is some hey, you need to dig in here right now.
I do like the fact that they were very opportunistic early yesterday, right, with a couple of penalties, and they take advantage right away. But it's just frustrating that you get into the third period, and I know you and Gov were there yesterday. You were there for the entire game, and it's just what was the mood having the perspective of what happened on Saturday?
Oh, I was not comfortable 4-2. Normally you're up 4-2 in the third period, and you should feel comfortable. I didn't feel comfortable.
Didn't sound like you were comfortable in your seat to begin with.
Oh, God, the guy next to me's encroaching would be polite. Basically sitting in my lap. But even that guy was like, boy, they can't blow another 2-goal lead. Everybody in the building was aware of what had just happened the day before. They pull the goalie with 4 minutes, and you go, oh, boy. Hold on tight.
Yeah.
Because they're going to throw everything they have at you, and then you end up in overtime, and it really did feel like it was going south. I think you texted Tom and I.
I did.
And I said,
after they tied it up.
Yeah, of course you did. And I didn't answer until after the game.
Yeah.
Because I'm walking
out. You boys
out.
enjoying the game?
Yeah. And I go, I wasn't, and now I am.
It was a little trollish that you waited for it to get to 4-4. Nothing during the entire game.
I was a little jealous, right? Because both you guys were there. I wasn't able to go. And then, with everything falling apart in the third period, I felt like it was necessary to just see how you guys were doing, how you were managing. I figured, Tom, you were managing it a little better than Mr. Emotional Hockey Fan here.
Yeah, but, look, I look at this weekend as glass half full. You got 3 out of 4 points.
Yep.
Okay, and then you were playing 2 West teams, so you weren't causing indirect harm in the standings. They are now in the 7th by themselves in the wild card right now.
I think they have a game in hand too.
Yeah,
or maybe
and
not.
You look ahead. I've been looking ahead here to this weekend. There's 2 humongous games with the Blue Jackets. Not the weekend technically completely because they host the Jackets Thursday, and they got the Ohio Stadium game on Saturday, and the Jackets are 2 behind.
They're actually, if you look at this way, the Jackets are the first team out. The team behind them is Boston, and there's talk about Boston selling at the deadline. So you really do have a chance here to separate from the pack with a good week. 2 against the Jackets, but they got to play the Wild on Tuesday. You guys let us know. Shaky start out of the break. Glass half full. They did pick up 3 of the 4 points. They are still in the playoffs, but they got to hold some of these leads. What's your gut say? Do you have concerns that this team will finish in the playoffs